So, hello and welcome to another Woodworking Wisdom. So today, back in the wood turning room. Haven't been in here for a while, so it'd be quite nice to give you that scope of doing a bit more turning. What we're going to do, going to take a bit of sycamore, we're going to make it into a bowl with a decorative rim, which actually kind of takes me out of my comfort zone because I'm normally into polished wood. Alright, so we're going to go through how we're going to get something a bit more like that. The turning bit, take the foot off, do all the surface decoration. That takes a little bit of time. So you're going to see all those little processes we go through from our block of wood right through to the end result. Hopefully, if you like this, hit that subscribe button down here. Give us those thumbs up because it lets us know you're actually appreciating what we're doing as well. Right? Makes me feel better if anything. Our aim with this video is to show you how you do the textured rim. So therefore, if you want more info on how to turn the basic bowl, have a look at this video up here. Alright, that's going to give you a bit more in-depth on how you can do your first few bowls. And then we're going to focus on that. We're going to cover obviously how we're going to mount it, put it on the lathe, which tools, and then how we're going to do that beautiful textured effect. Going to hold the work on the chuck. Going to use workstation on the lathe for this so we can try and stay in camera nicely. Want to leave it on the chuck. Why? First of all, it's going to add stability, easier to hold. More weight lower down again makes it easier to hold as well. I can slide my board up. I can even use the banjo in this case to lock it in place. I could even possibly work off the top of the banjo with the rotary tool as a support bearer. So that's quite a nice way of working. If you've got a workbench, you might use that. If you've got a holder for your chuck and carving type arm, yeah, that would work. Could be a bit further away. So it's just really looking at adding support. Set the rotary tool. So move things about a little bit. Turn the chuck off, it's on the bar, we look at that. This is where we're heading. Got to try and do this now. We've got a series of different shapes, if you like, within this, different depths, different circles. We'll give you a close-up of it in a minute. We can really have a good scan, okay? Before I went and did my bowl straight off, have a play. So that sounds a bit, so I've done a couple of boards, just flat material, it's easier to start with. And again, bowl's a good thing to work on with a flat rim because it's easy shape to approach. Flat's quite nice, so I've done different ones. I've added different coloured paints and stuff you're going to see as we go on. We're going to explain that a little bit. Maybe different patterns. It's a whole range of different things. Again, we'll put these down, we'll scan over them in a sec. Alright, but that's a good way of starting, something flat. So we know I've got a bowl on here. I've got a texture where bigger circles, if you like, each quarter, and then gradually they get smaller. So I'm going to set that. That's our aim. Our bowl, if we bring this in, we've left it on the chuck. We know that's going to add stability, as we've already said. Might be able to add the banjo on here so I can use this as a stable point to approach this with. That can be good. The burr direction is spinning as I look at it now away from me. That's important to understand. If I come the other way and try and maybe come round or come off the side here, got to think about which way it's going to want to pull it a bit, how I can control it. So it can be the case of turn the work round to do this corner. Easier for me to get to as well. So rotation of burr, quite important. What are the burrs? Okay, now I've got different ones on here. These are a sabre burr. Let's have a look at those as a close-up. We can get different sizes, as in diameters. I've gone purely with a ball. I find it really easy to do. The green colour is coarser. Now these actually as a type of burr tend to tear the fibres a little bit. They're like little teeth. So they will leave more of a ragged effect. So if I were to go with the green, yes, I will get more of a ragged effect at the end of it. We're going to clean and brush effect it as well. So that can be useful maybe if you want to highlight that ragged effect, it will work. By going yellow, you can reduce the scratch marks or depth of those grooves down a little bit. So I prefer the yellow for this, but it takes a little bit longer. Other type of burr you might have will have a high-speed steel. This will have cut teeth on it. They will cut and they will probably give you a quicker fit or a cleaner finish. Alright, so that'll give you a cleaner finish, but it'll take me longer. For the type of effect we're going to need, the sabre burr is going to work beautifully. With our bowl, we've got quarter points, if you like. Clock face, 12, 3, 6, 9. Alright, so all I've just done is highlight those. I could even, if you want, draw out some fingers a bit of a shape on here. Not that important, but this is just highlighting the areas you're going to have the bigger burrs in. So just a quick scribble. Then we got our rotary tool, and again, somewhere to sit can be nice. Something to sit on as a platform. We can rotate it. Well, work here with a hand, and we got somewhere working. Next thing with this, loads of dust. So you've got to have something as a dust mask for this, all right? Really important. I'm going to put my visor on in a minute and work with that. This also is going to take you a bit of time. Need that aspect to step away a little bit on. You're holding this for hours, all right? It's going to start to get a little bit. So you need to make sure you move away a little bit and turn it off and do a bit. So I give myself a session, then I'll have a break. All right, so this is going to take us a little bit of time. We're going to work with our bigger burr to start with. So get suited up. So we've got a handpiece set up. I've got the banjo I can use, my left hand's free, we can get into here, just looking at where things are. I've got foot controller. I'm going to come in off the edge to start with. Now we're going to do, drop in. We can also wiggle about a little bit. So you can almost draw with a tip of a pen, right? Do the next one. Right, you will try to get them similar sizes, so that one I'll come back to. So with this you can see we're going round and round a little bit when we're working with the burr. That will enlarge the shape. I'm trying to make sure we're getting the lines in between, right up to in between each of the burrs, so they make contact and you get a shallow line in between. What I don't want, a bit like I've got here, bigger border line. If I get a border line which is the edge of the flat that we generated with the turning tool, we can go back, take a little bit more out. By moving the burr around, we get less parallel marks off the burr as well, so they overcut. So you can see what's going on. Might need a brush up. Trouble around the visor, blowing doesn't work. Oh, clean that out. So we're starting to have a look. We've got a shape coming on. Got a little bit more in here. We're going to do a big one. Then we'll move round and work on the next stage on each one. So we're going to repeat that process on each bit. So we've got first stage. I've started with bigger, slightly larger ball. That'll give me more of a curve. We can always come down in size on the burrs or even go lighter with the technique of what we're doing. So that's giving us more of a ripple effect at the moment, okay? So we're going to move round to the next bit, do exactly the same. Wow, okay. This stage looks a bit rough and ragged. So we need to clean it up. That's going to help us see what's going on in underneath this. Let's just give you a bit of a tilt. Alright, we'll come out to the edge. I've got a little bit maybe here we're going to, alright, but I need to clean that up. I'm going to show you a couple of quick and easy ways. First one, let's put it back on there. Let's move that burr. We're going to drop him on the floor. The decorating brush that comes with the Henry Taylor decorating elf. So this we can use, getting that out. And again, want your visor and your dust mask on. I mean, dust everywhere, you wouldn't think it's so, right? Good news is with me doing it here, it comes towards you guys in the camera. Alright, so you can see what happens here. Alright, let's get rid of the worst, now that will drop down now. Alright. So a quick look, see what we get. Looking better. So let's flip that back up there. Drop him down. So we want to finish kind of clean this up. Still feels a little bit fluffy. We're going to blend things together. So let's just take that off there. We're going to take our burr out. And we got a little Proxon arbor that has a screw on the top, a shaft. You can put saw blade sanding discs. If you cut some web racks, I punch it out. So I've got a round punch them out, put a hole in the middle. I can bolt those together. So I've got 3 layers on there. Put that back in as well. Check we're in the centre. I'm going to put my visor back on. So time to investigate things I might not like. In through here, I don't know how clear we're going to get this on the camera. That's a real good one. Missed that. Totally flat there, a little bit in here. So we can put the burr back in, we can start just re-going over. And that's where it's filling up with dust when we're working, makes it difficult to see those little bits. So we need to get into those a little bit, clean those out, get those burrs. So again, at this stage, you just go back a little bit. Just swap that back over. We'll reload the burr, put the visor back on, just have a little bit of a clean out of those bits you might have missed in between. So we don't want too many flats, they're going to show up when we paint it. That's the abrasive bristle bit done. So the red will give me quite a nice fine finish on the top, take off that fluffy nature. So, looks better now. Next bit to do. We need to seal this, so let's take our board out of the way, get rid of all that dust. Look, I don't want any of that on there. I'm going to use a cellulose spray lacquer, okay? So the reason for this will dry evenly. If we brush on, we're going to get build up in between each of the recesses we created. So we're giving it a bit of a spray. Slow speed, and we're going to be quite light with this. I'm just watching the colour change now as we come across it. What's that going to do? That's just going to seal the fibres. Anything that's a bit fluffy, it will hold down for me. Now we just got to let it dry. So we've got our sealer, so we've let it touch dry. Just undone the spindle. Look, I'm going to bring a bit of cardboard just up onto here. Put that down. Go black. Alright, so we're going to go ebonising lacquer. Why have we taken it off the lathe? I want it to pull a little bit in those surfaces. If we've got it vertical, it will tend to run. And then we're going to be, again, quite light with this. We can put 2 or 3 coats on if we need. So, from above, just work across. We can move it around a bit. So this is an acrylic lacquer. And by coming down from above, we shouldn't get any splashback coming down around that edge, colouring what we've already waxed. Nearly there for that, I think, for a minute. And again, what we're just checking that we, if you like, filled all those little holes. So first coat, I might do another. We'll have a look when it's dry, just see if we've missed anything in amongst that. But that looks better. Now we've just got to let it dry. So from yesterday, and we've left it overnight to dry, we've done our black. That looks pretty solid now. So obviously our aim is to get a bit more colour. The black becomes obviously the background. So let's put our bowl out the way a minute. So first thing, paints. I've gone with some chestnut iridescent paints. They will work. They're an acrylic base, I can brush them on the top. So you've got different colours, we can have different things, we can do a mixture of colours, we can overlap. Alright, so but anything with an acrylic type paint will work. Good colours. Brush. we need to look at your brush a little bit. A flat brush would be nice, stiffer bristled. I've also got, this was more of a pointed type tip. I want to make it a bit more rounded and cut off any loose ends. Best way I've found to do it, bit of abrasive paper weirdly. You just sit there, sand it in. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Right, so you can soften the tip in and that'll round it in a little bit. You can take scissors a little bit and clop it back as well. So let's just see if I can hold those two up. The one we're going to use is the one on the top. Alright, so different shape. Exactly the same brush but different shape. Flat brush would be nice, but it's got to have stiff bristles. Now we're going to do a dry brush technique. So you need a paint palette, something plastic to put it on, cardboard just to wipe off, and then we'll go to our bowl. Alright, and we're going to build the colours up gently. So let's start with that. I'll probably go back to that again a bit later. Major thing with these, make sure you shake everything, mix it up properly, or you're going to get variation in colour. So let's go to our palette a little bit. It was right out here. I want a bit of paint. First bit done. Glasses on. Feel what we got. Now we want a bit of paint on here, so I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to smear it around a little bit on that plastic palette. Now I'm going to wipe off some of the excess, and the brush is dry, remember, don't go getting a wet brush. I'm going to take some of the paint off. If you use the drying up cloth, can you please check with the authority that does the washing that you're allowed to do this? Then we're going to go to here, and instead of trying to be hard, we're just going to stroke the surface. When you start, it's going to make it look like you're not really doing anything. It takes a little bit of building up and patience. Not my magic word. And almost just stroking the fibres. If you look at the brush, we're not putting any weight behind it. Paint, wipe it back a bit. Come round a bit again. Almost fingertip controls on that brush. Stroking the surface. Paint on, cardboard to smear it around a little bit, wipe it back, then nice and light coming onto here. And all we're trying to do is get the paint on the high spots, and again different directions with the brush will help overlap. And on this we need to build up maybe 2 or 3 coats. We can go slightly different colours. We can have different colours in different areas, so if you look at the bowl from different angles you might get slightly different colours. You can see now I've changed direction, pulling towards me, not trying to push it into all those holes we've done, we're just trying to wipe across the surface. So we got our colour, we've got a bit of purple and green. Alright, I don't know if it shows on the camera, almost like a scale thing, dragon skin. Alright, so we got there, we still got the middle to do. We want to protect this first, so now just going to put them back there. Let's move our clutter. Going to go with a melamine spray lacquer. Okay, this is hard wearing, it'll dry nicely, it'll make that quite hard. Also we'll add a bit of gloss. We don't want loads, we're just really trying to protect that surface. And again, by doing it flat, we haven't got problems with it running and distorting and maybe pulling the paint. So literally, we just want through. Let it dry. Okay, so first one done. If you start looking at, just got a little bit of a green hint on the surface, hoping the camera will pick that up. I roll it around a little bit, okay? Get a little bit of green highlight, and it's only hitting the top. Obviously, the other thing, This is weird. I mean, there is nothing coming off on that brush now. It is bone dry, but you're getting just a very slight surface coloration. That's all we want. Get too much paint on it, you're going to smear it right into the bottom of all those holes. All we've done at the moment is touch those top points. So first one done, need to let it dry. We'll come back, do another one, build it up a little bit, might do a little bit of a purple on top, and then go back to the green again or the turquoise. So a bit more to go, yeah. Right, so we've let it dry, sparkly. Now, let's colour the inside. So, put the chuck back on the lathe. So there. Let's move our board. In with that robust rust. Just short of centre height, that's good. Thing to check, we've left this 24 hours in between doing things. It's been pretty warm in here. Want to just check that's held in the chuck and tight again. So just recheck it. It might have shrunk a little bit overnight. That's good. Okay, good. We want to go a bit faster than that. Bow gouge. Finger and thumb working on its side. Have a quick look to see where we are on our circle here. Do we need a bit more yet? Got a little bit still to come out. We've got a bit more depth, so we've still got a little bit of the wall on here that's solid without the holes in, so I've got to come wider. When we go to start our gouge, finger and thumb, we're lining up the bevel angle on the back here with the direction we want to go in. We got our flute about 2 o'clock. That's important. We don't want it dragging out now. We've got a bit more to go out. Then we've got to get our depth. Coming down to the bottom of our hole. Just about there. Right, again just check on our circle. Have we got out to a wall edge now where we've got total holes? We don't want a flat area, that's not bad. Quite nice. Shape's not bad in there, just a light refinement. So let's go. I'm going to go with my scraper. Into the middle, up and down gently. Just seeing what's going on. Quick sharpen. Trying to get a nice even curve. Not too bad there. I think we're going to go with that. Again, just double check. Don't want a wall edge on here. We look good. Okay. Okay, so I've just finished the sanding, so up to our 400, a little bit of effort, folding the paper 3 layers, dropping the speed down again, all more controllable, left hand supporting, all good little tips in there. That feels beautiful. Our cellulose sealer. Don't need loads of this, so I'm drying the brush quite a bit. We're going to start nearer the middle, turn the work by hand. We're trying to reduce the runs coming out on the surface. How about that? So we can wipe it off. That looks good. Raise the grain just a little bit. So back to the 400. Not as much pressure on my fingertip, just taking the top of it. Exactly the same again. Quicker to move the work than move the brush around. That looks good. Now we've got to get our wax. So that same microcrystal wax, a little bit of Webrax or Merlon. Again, keeping the speed low so we don't flick it everywhere. Pretty good. Want that again in a sec. Now, just got to let it dry for a few minutes. While I'm letting it dry, just checking the button jaws. So we've got the buttons, they're adjustable. We can move these in and out. Going to use that to reverse and hold our bowl. Up to there. Looks alright. Got this bit. So hopefully going to fit in here. Spent all that time doing that bit. Let's just protect it just a little bit. So the button jaws, again in a 114 chuck. Let's put that on. Speed down. Easier to increase it. That looks pretty good. Check we're tight. So I'm just going to slacken. Push it on. Make sure we're pushing up. Grip it on the edge. The rubber buttons will grip in, bite in a bit, but also grip on the edge of it. Now, what to have? A couple of options. We could So, nearly done. Alright, hope you've enjoyed. Quite a long project, something we couldn't have done as a live session because the amount of time to do that, the paint, that thing's dry. So something is a sequence. The dry brush finishing just adds that little bit of character. See where we get to, they're going to look a bit different. This one's got a bit more pale on that I added, so different colours will affect it. So I've left this for a few minutes. Gently coming up towards those button jaws. While we're using paper towel, it will fall apart. Smooth that one. Go back, come down. If this will work for you, look. Give it more of an angle. If I could get in there, it would be even better. How about that? So hopefully you're enjoying the content of this video. If so, hit that like and subscribe button and share this with your friends as well, because they'd love to see this. Quite informative. Also lets us know you're enjoying what we're doing. Alright,